Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great time at PostCon. Let's get started. We know that collaboration is fundamental to APIs. Whether you're an API publisher or an API consumer, API work is not about one developer working in isolation. When you build an API, you are working with other developers, product managers, and stakeholders within your organization. When you publish your API out to the world, you're working with external partners, customers, and other stakeholders outside your organization. Now, let me ask you a question. What percentage of time do you think API developers spend on collaboration? 25%. 25%? Any other guesses? Okay. It's actually 50%. API developers spend half their time on collaboration and collaborative activities. So obviously, collaboration is very important to APIs. This is why workspaces are central to the Postman experience. A Postman workspace provides a shared canvas for developers and other stakeholders to collaborate on APIs. And we are going to show you how you can use Postman workspaces to collaborate effectively, both within your organization as well as outside your organization. To illustrate this, we are going to use a fictional company called Space Cash. Can you go back one slide? Next slide. Sorry. Yeah, slides get mixed up. To illustrate this, we are going to use a fictional company called Space Cash. Space Cash is a fictional payments company. They help their customers process online payments using APIs. So we're going to do this demo in 3 parts. First, Ella is going to show you how you can use Postman workspaces to collaborate within your team. Next, Chris is going to show you how you can use Postman workspaces to collaborate with other teams across your organization. Finally, I'm going to come back and talk about how you can use Postman workspaces to publish your APIs to external partners and developers across the globe. Now, I'll invite Ella to talk about how he's building an API collaboratively using Postman.
Thanks, Ramji. Cool. So today, I will show you how Postman helps engineers work together when developing APIs. I will walk you through the initial stages of setting up our brand new payment API, and I will highlight some of the collaborative features that we support. All right, let's dive in. So today, we're on a mission to build a new payment API. We started building our own little API universe inside Postman by setting up our initial requests and saving them to our collection. Collections are your playground for designing and testing API-driven functionality. They're effortless to set up, and they allow me to easily organize my API endpoints. There we go. Now, over time, as my work and the complexity of my work continues to grow, Postman collections offer me ways to document, automate workflows, and streamline testing. And this is best of all, collections are designed for sharing, which is awesome, because I can loop in my team members to help me build and review my work, and at any later point in time, I can use my collections to share them as executable documentation or even as reference materials. This way, my Postman collections become the ultimate source of truth. Now, as I continue adding more API endpoints, you obviously see that I'm repeating parts of my URL. Now, imagine we want to ship this API to production, the base URL will change, right? So, does it mean that I need to repeat all the work I did so far? No, of course not. We can use Postman environments to store our variables. Environments are a set of variables that I can reference when sending requests or writing scripts. And I can have different environments for different types of work. But of course, I want to ensure that my team members can easily find the right environments when collaborating with me. Therefore, now, with Postman v11, I can pin the relevant environments to my collections. When I'm working on an API, prototyping is key. And when I'm ideating solo, private workspaces, they are my go-to. Private workspaces within Postman are visible to me and the people I invite to them. This way, I can easily organize my work when ideating solo and collaborate with my team members in real time. And of course, this is where the magic happens, right? Because I can add comments or ask questions to any of my team members. And if I want to get their input or their feedback on a specific piece of my work, I can also leave a comment inline. This way, my colleagues can jump in right away. Now, before I share my work with my engineering manager for review, I will need to add some tests. And next to my tests, I need to add some documentation, because what's an API without great documentation, right? Postbot has been an absolute lifesaver for us when adding documentation. By adding documentation to our collections now serve as a cornerstone for API documentation. They provide a structured way and an organized way to showcase all our API endpoints. Cool. So far, so good, right? Quick recap. We've looked at collections and we've looked at environments and how inside a collaborative workspace within Postman, every person that has access to that workspace sees the same environments and the same collections as I do. We've also looked at private workspaces, a place where I can work solo, but also invite team members and other stakeholders to collaborate with me. And lastly, we've seen how I can use comments, and more specifically inline comments, to collaborate with my team members in real time. Now, I'm satisfied with my work so far, and as you can see, I resolved all the comments from my team members and all the feedback. Let's invite my engineering manager, Chris, now, so he can walk you through the next steps and how we can make our API project both discoverable and accessible across the entire organization.
Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. Thank you. Hope you are having a great time. How are you, folks? Good? Good, good. Cool. So I'm Chris. I'm going to be playing as the engineering manager of Space Cache. So I'm very excited to bring you another dimension in this collaboration story that we are telling, right? This is cross-team collaboration, right? And as you remember, if you were paying attention, I just got a message, a notification from Jelle, the lead engineer before. It read something like this. He's inviting me on Slack to explore at this first iteration that they took on the API project, right? On our payments API project in a private workspace. And I don't want to skip the opportunity of mentioning how great this integration with Slack was. Because in the end, this is like is fitting very nicely all our communication workflows together, right? See this very timely and and responding very early, right? So these integrations are being a great lifesaver. So stay tuned for the next ones coming. But yeah, let's go back to the message. Let's take a look and see what's new. So, well, everybody loves managers, right? So what is that managers do? Well, I mean, we want to bring everyone together. We want to keep things organized, streamline processes, and ultimately deliver great outcomes, right? How does this apply to Postman, right? Well, as a manager, I want to make sure that our API projects are flowing, right? So I want to make sure that internal teams, both and collaborators, can easily join. But the most important thing, I want to make sure that this great super payments API that Jelle put together, it's gonna reach and it's gonna be there across, right? This is why I decided to create a dedicated team workspace, right? I'm leveraging this type of workspace at Postman because it's going to become a great hub for collaboration for all teams that are going to be working on this payments API, and it's going to become our source of truth here at Space Cash Corporation, right? So what am I going to be doing? Well, I'm going to just take everything I need from the previous private workspace, right? I'm going to be pulling up that collection, moving it, and then I'm going to, last but not least, share this to make it available to the team as easy as sharing a link so they can get started and contributing. And yeah, look, very easy, placing the ID, type of role, sharing. Poof, done. Everything is shaping up nicely. I think work was well done. I think we are ready to go to the next base. So now, how can I help? I was talking earlier as my job as a manager and efficiency, right? Like, how can I set my team for success as soon as they land, right? How can I ensure they're going to have a great onboarding? They're not going to feel lost or feel like there is something missing here, right? So basically, they can just like get to do what they want with the API, like development, prototyping, testing, like right away, right? All in for efficiency. So customization, it's going to be great to help having that smooth onboarding. What can I do for this? I can customize the sidebar, just reflecting the sections that we are going to need. I can add play. There you go. I can add a description, as you're seeing, so you get a bit of like a message on what are you going to be having to catch up upon, pinning the important collections that you are going to need to keep in mind to have to consider. And furthermore, we can create even a theme, a color theme to help identification. See how that works. It's pretty new. Hope you enjoy it. We can set up our brand X value. We can change a bit of a shade of color for the whole theme. And it's as easy as checking if it works nicely for light, for dark mode. Click apply. And there you go. Let's take a deeper look into this I just showed, because you're going to say, okay, color, cool, nice. Why can I use this about? What is this for, right? So this customization of workspaces, it's going to help hinting the intention that this workspace has right from the start. How? Some real use cases. Well, branding is one. Definitely branding can be a great use for this. There's also other ways, like other usages, such as like, what's the sensitivity of the data, right, that I'm presenting? Or at what stage this workflow is. So we can establish like an internal color code to help our stakeholders, teams, everyone who gathers together knowing anything they need to know as soon as they land, right? Like, check this out. How do they look? Cool, yeah? Nice. I mean, as I said, this is going to help easing identification using this color coding convention, so bringing a bit of a splash of color here. Cool. So what's next in this story of collaboration, cross-team collaboration? So in this next chapter, what we want is now to make this team workspace I already created accessible to all Space Cash org. So there is a very straightforward way to do this, which is publishing it in the private API network. Probably you know, but just to giving a quick definition, it's this central directory, right? We can find workspaces, we can find collections, we can find the APIs the team is going to use internally. So this is going to be streamlining. This is going to be streamlining discovery, and developers are going to join easily relevant workspaces, and this is going to help bringing visibility, boosting collaboration across. You can see how I'm adding all the environments, adding this collection to the network. Voila, there it is, accessible to everyone. So, APIs are alive, APIs change constantly. We heard a lot about that today. But how do we inform stakeholders about all of this, right? How we avoid all of this information being scattered in documents, Jira, Slack, you name it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So workspace updates seems like a no-brainer, great solution for this. So this is enhancing even more this source of truth concept we were talking at the very beginning about team workspaces, right? Like, so stakeholders are going to be totally up to date. Let me show how I will draft an update about this API we were talking about before. So basically, we are posting an update. We're going to give it a title that is descriptive enough to understand what is the latest about it. Poof, copy paste. We shape it, and we can just categorize it. We can link the collections, or we can link any type of resources we don't want anybody to miss as part of this, even like a history of like changes. As easy as this, we can just now click the magic button, get it posted. Now it's known. So that was it from my side. I want just a quick recap because I know that was a lot of stuff. So let's go one by one. We have a Slack integration, which is gonna power communication and make a seamless or workflow. Team workspaces for cross-team collaboration. Customization for API onboarding. Theming for workspace identification and some of those use cases we shared before. Private API network for streamlining discovery. And workspace updates for real-time API information. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to hand it over to Ramji. He's the head of API products here at SpaceCache. So we are going to learn how to share these APIs with external partners, with customers, with the world. Ramji?
Thanks, Chris. Hi again. I'm going to be stepping in as the head of API products for our fictional company called SpaceCache. Now, what really is an API product? In our API-first world, APIs are not just interfaces inside products. APIs are products in and of themselves. And I want my partners, customers, and essentially any developer working with our APIs to have a fantastic developer experience. Today, I'm going to onboard a new partner called Cosmic Cabs. Think of Cosmic Cabs as a fictional transportation company. Cosmic Cabs wants to use SpaceCache APIs to process their payments. And I want their developers to have a seamless onboarding experience. Now, let me show you how you can do that with one of my favorite features in Postman called Partner Workspaces. Now, what is a partner workspace? A partner workspace is a secure access control space where I can share my Postman collections with external developers outside my organization. This allows me to collaborate across organizational boundaries. Now, let me show you how I'm going to onboard this new partner called Cosmic Cabs using a partner workspace. Here, I've already created a workspace, and I'm going to try to add the collections that I want to share with my partner. To do this, I'm going to fork the collection from the team workspace that Chris just created. I do this because I want my internal team workspace to be the source of truth of my APIs. And I can then use that source of truth to share with multiple partners. I'm also going to fork the environments that I want to share with my partners. And I also want to set up the workspace, so I'm going to add a workspace description. I can also highlight any pinned collections that I want to highlight to my partner. If I want, I can also set up a workspace theme. The theme helps me to have a distinctive look and feel for the workspace for each partner. Now, the best thing about having a single partner workspace is that you can customize the workspace just for that partner so that they have a great developer experience. Here, I'm setting up this environment. And in the environment, I'm entering very partner-specific values. I'm entering their API key, their partner ID, and any other parameters that they would need to help them onboard easily. So when they come to the workspace, they'll have a great developer experience, and they can start trying out the APIs right away. So now that I've set up the environment, I've set up the workspace, I'm ready to invite my partners to the workspace so I can collaborate with them. So when inviting a partner, there are really two choices I have. I can invite them as a partner viewer. A partner viewer can access all workspace resources and also send requests. But to have a truly collaborative experience, I want to invite Cosmic Apps developers as a partner editor. Partner editors can create collections. They can also fork the collection that I shared with them to create their own custom workflows. Not all partners want to use all your APIs, so these custom workflows help them tailor and consume your APIs according to their needs. So now that I've set up the workspace and invited partners, we'll see how this all comes together in the partner experience. Now, you know that the hardest part about onboarding any API is sending that first successful request. Now, if I invite the partner, they have to figure out documentation, they have to figure out authentication, and then configure the request just right so that they get that magical 200 OK response. Now, let me show you how that is really easy for a partner using a partner workspace. Here, I'm a partner accessing the same partner workspace that I set up. I'm going to check out the collection and read the documentation that is embedded within the collection. This helps me really understand the API and what I can do with it. Next, I'm checking out a request, and I need to figure out auth and send the request. This is why the environment I set up for them is super useful. They don't have to fill out any values because I set up the environment for them, so their onboarding experience is really seamless. The partner selects the environment and sends the request and gets a successful response right away. This really speeds up the time it takes to onboard partners. If they want to really accelerate their integration, Partner Workspace also has the Postman's code generator. Right? So once they test the API, they can pick up the source code and start integrating straight away. So when you're onboarding a partner, what used to take weeks and months, you can do it in a matter of days or hours using a Partner Workspace. I'm also really excited to announce 2 new capabilities coming with Partner Workspaces with Postman v11. First, when you have a Partner Workspace set up and you want to scale that and collaborate with multiple partners, you can do that in the same workspace using the new multi-partner mode. Also, one thing that everybody wants to do is when you share the Partner Workspace, partners also want to have their own copy of the collection. So now they can do that by forking that collection and taking it to their own team to collaborate. This is available in early access and will be available for general availability very soon. Now, we were talking about this fictional company called SpaceCache, and SpaceCache also has public APIs. And I want to broadcast my public APIs to developers across the world. So SpaceCache can create a public workspace and reach 30 million developers who use the Postman platform today in the Postman public network. To learn more about the public network, do check out the Postman Public API Network booth. I hear they have a raffle, so if you haven't participated early, so this is your chance. All right, I invite Chris to wrap up.
Thank you. Cool, wrapping up now. Hope you find that really enlightening. Hope you enjoyed, hope you had some fun. Here alongside with my colleagues, we just were explaining how Postman is just not the best API tool, which you all know. It's also an exceptional platform for teams to collaboratively build solutions. Click.
Thank you.
You need to click. Oh, sorry. So this is in essence the story of collaboration, right? From working alone to collaborating with your team, to bring on other teams, and ultimately to share with the stakeholders outside of the organization, right? So Workspaces become this shared canvas, as Ramji was mentioning, for teams to execute and collaborate in real time in APIs, and it's powering efficiency API lifecycle management. So thank you for your time today. Enjoy at PostCon. Hope to catch you around. Take care. Thank you.